Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have, dear God, for our 1400th episode, Spooky Buddies. Yeah, it's, I was gonna get it eventually, along with every other Buddies movie. Now, if you don't already know, or if you can't already tell from my attitude, I'm not the biggest fan of the Buddies movies. Let's just say that. I love dogs, I love puppies, but I have this thing about when they try to digitally animate dogs talking. Homeward Bound, oh, you can have Michael J. Fox talking for a dog all you want, but they didn't bother animating the mouths. It was before that technology was available properly, and that was a glorious time. But now, because you can do it, apparently every Beverly Hills Chihuahua, every buddy in every kind of adventure they could possibly have, they need to just keep moving their mouths and yapping, and they all have very distinct personalities that one eats a lot, one is a princess, one's a leader, one's kind of a hippie, I guess. I don't know. He's all like meditation and granola, and another one thinks he's a hip hop kind of bee dog. Seriously, it's just no. I mean, I realize that animals emulate the children that are their friends, their best friends, but yeah, no, even the lead character, the kid, Billy, who owns B-Dog, he doesn't even do the hip-hop thing anymore. I don't know if the actor aged out of it, or like, when we had Space Buddies not too long ago, he was still dancing, doing white kid emulating hip-hop culture, awkwardly. But in this one, it does not so much, even though technically the humans have more screen time than the puppies, which is strange to me, but I'm thankful for it. Because honestly, yeah, the less the puppies are just spitting out just these cloying little phrases that are gently busting on each other, just sweetly. There's nothing against the actors. The children are fine. The kid voice actors and the kids who, yeah, they're not great, but they're not horrible. The best part of this, and I always try to find something good in this, and actually there is a lot, surprisingly a good amount that is good in this. Rance Howard plays the old man, who, I'm going to spoil this for you, is the older version 70 some years later of the small boy who has his puppy taken from him by an evil wizard, and his owl and his Halloween hound. I guess they didn't want to use hellhound or devil dog or anything. By the way, the bad guy is the best thing about this entire thing. Harlan Williams? You recognize Harlan Williams? If you do, well, he, honestly, I'm going to spoil a lot of stuff in this, because there's not a chance you're going to just unconsciously on your own decide to watch this. And I wouldn't recommend watching it, but if you are going to watch it, you're going to watch it for Harlan Williams. Because he's a comedian. He falls in that range of that comedy. He was really popular in the 90s. He appeared in Dumb and Dumber. He was a Pennsylvania State Police trooper, I believe, who drank that beer. It wasn't a beer. It was something else, and he gave that fantastic performance of revulsion after drinking that beer, that yellow liquid. let's just say. Um, he's been all over the place as well. He's been in a ton of other films. Half Baked was he in that with Jim? What's his name? He's been in a number of movies, but in this, I was like, oh, dude, he's slumming it. He's slumming it. But you know what? These movies do drag in a number of talented actors, comedians, and such to do voice work mostly. We get Deborah Jo Rupp playing a wizard chihuahua, like not a wizard, but like a little fortune teller chihuahua. She's from I recognize her from that '70s show. Diedrich Bader, who appeared in Space Buddies as a Russian cosmonaut left in space. Honestly, a reference that nobody who's going to ever watch this movie on purpose would ever understand. You get an idea of just how old the writers are, that there's a cosmonaut subplot in this. And that he's been abandoned by his own country. Yeah, Russian cosmonaut. Diedrich Bader, but in this case, he plays the real bad guy in this. He's like an evil dog. And the dog looks menacing. They make him look menacing enough, but he's mostly just annoyed at everybody else around him. But he has a great deep voice, and he projects as possibly the scariest thing in this. Kids watching this are not going to be frightened. In fact, again, the villain, who is the most evil man, who wants to be the most evil man in this small town, apparently, that has no leash laws whatsoever, or moving cars, apparently. Like, at the very beginning, in 1937, there are moving cars, but on Halloween, when this is all taking place, there's nobody driving in the streets. It's just children willy-nilly just crossing the street, doing everything else. And dogs in packs. Like, yes, they're cute, adorable puppies, but they're just day or night just wandering around without leashes on. And I realize that would seem kind of restrictive for the story, for the characters, to have leash laws, but still, I realize it's a small town, but that means Harlan Williams, who plays the bad guy. By the way, his name on IMDb is so far down the list on this that I think he tried to bury his role in this. I don't know what the rules are for being listed in this in IMDb, but he plays Warwick, the wizard. He wants to be the most evil wizard in this small town, which doesn't seem like a really tough job. Like there's not a whole lot of people competing for that. I think he just really had to maybe kick a puppy and he'd be done. He would be the most evil person in this small town. Burnsville, I think. I don't know. The name sounds terrifying. Just awful. A burning village. Burnsville. Anyway, of course, it's also got a goofy police chief. Sheriff Dan is played by Michael Teagan. There's just so many different people here. One of my favorite bits in this, and I want to get his name right here, Pat Finn, you've seen him in a bunch of sitcoms. You've seen him just probably in a bunch of these films. Like, I think he was one of the people working for the pseudo NASA in the Space Buddies movie. He does a lot of character actor stuff, but in this, he plays like a local dad in the town who is dressed up for Halloween as a surfing Frankenstein, maybe. All I know is it's him and his wife are just this close to blackface. They're not intentionally doing blackface. They're just super tanned Frankensteins who carry or zombies, maybe. I don't know what they're stitching, but he's hilarious in this. Only outdone by Harlan Williams, which Pat Finn is fantastic in this. Just when he gets... I can't believe I'm talking about this movie in a positive light. It's like getting hit in the face with a rake whenever that's what I expect it to feel like when I watch these films. But Pat Finn, when he gets mesmerized by Warwick to do his bidding, he goes full on zombie hypnotized Frankenstein doofus, and it could have just been phoned in, but he's great. He's absolutely great in this. And again, Harlan Williams, you figure he gets dispatched in the beginning of the film just to set up the whole thing. And you figure the Halloween Hound is going to be the one who sort of becomes a bad guy, returns in time to meet our puppies, the modern day puppies, 70 some years later. This, by the way, came out in 2011. It's an hour and 33 minutes long. I forgot to tell you that. It's an hour and 33 I will not get back. I did this for you. Harlan Williams does this, I think, as it went on, I realize a lot of this stuff is filmed out of order necessarily, for reasons. But if they shot this in order, his character just got more absurd with each sequence. He's channeling Aleister Crowley just in looks a little bit, but at the same time he's also channeling Paul Rubens, rest in peace. Paul Rubens in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie, without being a vampire. He's not threatening whatsoever. He does a lot of threatening, but of course he's the out of time kind of guy who's brought into the present day from 1937, but somehow doesn't understand, even though he was trying to call a Halloween Hound in order to become all-powerful evil, to take over the small town and the world, I suppose. He doesn't recognize why children are walking around in costumes, and he thinks they're really demons, and he comes in conflict with a number of people. When Pat Finn, Frankenstein surfer, gives him a candy bar as a treat, the shot, and God bless the director, Robert Vince, for just sticking to the shot, like not cutting away. And I almost think that why can't I say his name now? Harlan Williams. I almost think that Harlan Williams was just like, let me just do this. Let me just do this. Like, he improv'd it. They hands him a candy bar labeled down, so you don't, get Hershey wanting money. Candy bar labeled down. He jams the whole thing, still wrapped, into his mouth and starts chewing. Does not break eye contact with. Yeah. I actually laughed out loud at that. And it's something that would normally be done in a more mature comedy thing. And yeah, kids will still get a kick out of it. It's still funny on a kid's level, but for an adult level too, just realizing this guy is supposed to be a bad guy in a children's film, and he just went for it. So yeah, there's a lot of slapstick. The practical effects on this, yeah, you're not going to get the high budget stuff at all, and the digital effects. The ghost dog, Casper the Friendly Ghost Dog, Pip. I don't like that effect either. But the practical effects of Harlan Williams, Warwick, literally levitating and surfing on his staff, his glowing blue rock staff, like he's surfing. Sure, it's wire work, but come on, it's practical. They could have gone totally digital with that, and it would look like crap, like horrendous crap. But they didn't, and he stuck with it. Whatever the shot, no matter how high it seemed, it probably wasn't that high, but yeah. There's even music in this. There's a adults party that the kids have to crash in order to find safety from this evil wizard that's hunting them, and a Halloween hound and stuff. You get to see your parents getting weird in costume, and of course there's a band up there playing Monster Mash, because nobody has to pay for the rights to that song, I guess, at this point. And there's two other songs as well. I don't recall them very well, but of course, Monster Mash. And I think they did the entire Monster Mash song over a series of minutes while different scenes cut in and out of it, because they got it. And if they did pay for it, well, they made full use of it. They didn't just like, oh, we got 10 seconds of the song, get the atmosphere going. No, I think they did verses I've never even heard before that exist, but I do not recall. I've held the 45. I played the 45 on my mom's copy of the record. Yeah, I played that 45 when I was a kid. That's how old I am. If you don't know what a 45 is, ask your great-grandparents. So, yeah, no, I'm never going to recommend a Buddies movie to anybody whatsoever. But it's Halloween. If you're going to do all the Halloween movies, I mean, the comedy feels like it would fit in Halloween Town realm a little bit with just more puppies. But it's not. It's not Halloween Town. No. I mean, it still has the cheese factor, but beloved. I mean, Halloween Town's obviously beloved. It's that whole small town kind of adventure with children. And this does have more of that because the children are more the focus than the puppies. You'd think there'd be, maybe it's even, but it feels more like it's the focus on the kids than on the puppies. The puppies are just there every once in a while to slowly walking in and out of shots, sit entirely still while they get the footage they need to animate the mouths, and just creep me out. And that's it. And then the puppies have the puppies are running from the Halloween Hound, and the the human kids are running from Harlan Williams, Warwick, and yeah. And in order to escape, they also have to run into a church. Well, they couldn't say devil or anything satanic, of course, just evil, like a general evil. They do run into a church because the evil cannot get into the church. And they trick, because Warwick is trying to find a book to go along with his staff. They need to get his staff, and he needs to get a book to get his full power back. And he needs a book, and the book, they stick a Bible inside of it. And that's like, oh no, he starts reading and he's like, oh no, the Bible also is fighting off this man's tepid level of evil. This lame level of evil. Like, we have more real evil in real life than we do in anything this guy has ever done. That's a given, but yeah. But he is the least evil of all evil that I've ever seen say they're evil in a movie like this. It's a children's film. Like, there's a lot of children's film with evil in them. This guy is only scary in a Predator sense. And he wasn't even aware most of them were children half the time. He was just like, I need a staff and a book, and I need dogs. That's it. To turn them to stone, by the way. There's a lot of dogs being turned to stone and a lot of humans being turned into animals. Toads, rats, and a monkey. And Harlan does get to work with the monkey for a few minutes, and he does look genuinely annoyed that he was working with the monkey. I hope my... Okay, never mind. Let's pick tomorrow's episode as we enter the 1400s.
313.
313. We hope this one's spooky. It is probably not. Nope, it is not, as far as I can tell. Although we got really close to Return to Halloween Town. That was 311. 313 is simply Rise. I don't know what that is. Oh, maybe it's like a zombie rising. No, it's not going to be that. But Rise is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll talk to you tomorrow. We'll talk about that tomorrow. I survived.